Good morning, Year 4. I hope you had a really lovely weekend. We're into our third week of home learning and I'm really hoping that you're all doing okay. We're starting something new today and it's the story of Tutankhamun by Patricia Cleveland Peck. I would like you to write down the long date, which is Monday the 18th of January 2021, and the LO, which is an introduction to the story of Tutankhamun by Patricia Cleveland Peck. Pause this while you're writing it down. Don't forget to put in the punctuation marks around the story of Tutankhamun to show that that's a title. I'd like you to use your prediction skills just to start off. What can you predict about Tutankhamun, the character Tutankhamun, by looking at this book cover? So have a good look at it. We can see the name of the book, we can see who it's illustrated by, the name of the author at the top, and lots of pictures. I want you to try and predict whether Tutankhamun was high or low on the social pyramid, the age of Tutankhamun, whether Tutankhamun was male or female, what they were famous for, what job they did. And I'd also like you to think about why there are two modern-looking men kind of in circles next to the word story. Why are they on the cover? They don't look like they fit in. So take a minute, maybe do a little spider graph of your predictions about this character, Tutankhamun. Pause this while you're doing your predictions. So I've got here a very quick biography of Tutankhamun, who's known as King Tut. He was a pharaoh, so it's a male. He was a pharaoh, so very important. And where you see the C dot, that means circa, about. They think he was born about 1341 BCE. Now that's the same as saying BC. That means before Common Era or before Christ. And that he went on to live until 1323 BCE. So some of you who are more mathsy will be able to work out how long he's thought to have lived for from that information. We'll come back to that. So the little text there says Tutankhamun, known as King Tut, was the 12th pharaoh of the 18th Egyptian dynasty, in power from about 1332 to 1323 BCE. The boy king accomplished little during his reign, but became famous when his intact tomb was found in Egypt in 1922. Quick facts. Son of Akhenaten, became king at age 9, married half-sister, died at 19, so if you worked that out before, well done, and buried in the Valley of the Kings. You may have seen the Valley of the Kings on the map when you did your first history lesson research. What I'd like you to do underneath where you wrote your brainstorm is write the subheading glossary. A glossary is like a dictionary, and I want us to make a glossary of all the terms we're meeting through this work. So write the subheading glossary, and we can start to add to it straight away. A biography, so you can see the word at the top here. Bio means life, and graphy means writing. So this is writing about life. So the first word you can write in your glossary is biography. Biography, writing about someone's life. We also met some words that might be new for you in the biography. So we found the word dynasty and intact. So you can add those in as well. Dynasty means a family that has been powerful for generations. If you remember when we did RE, we talked about Jesus' family tree. We saw generations after generations. So King Tut came from a family that had been powerful for many, many years. The word intact means undamaged or whole. it tells us that his tomb, so his coffin maybe, was found undamaged or whole after all those years in 1922. So you put down those 3 terms in your glossary now. You're going to need plenty of space to keep adding to the glossary, so leave loads of space underneath, or you could even have done it on a fresh page. Pause this while you're putting those 3 terms into your glossary. Okay, we're opening up the book. In this book you will meet, now we've got 9 Egyptian characters and 4 modern characters here on this page. You can see, I'm going to start at the beginning. So we've got Tutankhamun. I'm the pharaoh. Like all pharaohs, I have 5 names. I am Ankhesenamun, is it? The great royal wife and half-sister of Tutankhamun. So you might have noticed that in the biography, he married his half-sister. Here's the king, Akhenaten, Tutankhamun's father. Then we have Queen Nefertiti, Tutankhamun's mother and mother-in-law, all very complicated. Here's Tai, the grandmother of Tutankhamun. And then we have a vizier called Ai, a general called Horemheb, Tia, who was a wet nurse, and Maya, a wet nurse. And here we have archaeologists and adventurers. So do you remember the date that the tomb was found? It was 1922, and this man here is the most famous of the archaeologists because he was the one who found Tutankhamun's tomb. Okay, so I want you to answer these retrieval questions. You just have to look through the page to find the answers. Who was Tutankhamun's mother? Who is his father? Who is his wife and half-sister? What relation to Tutankhamun was Tai? And who are the 2 wet nurses? So put the numbers down the margin. Again, remember you needed to leave room for your glossary, so maybe go to another page, write the numbers down and answer those questions. Pause the video while you're doing it. Okay, here are the quick answers then. Number 1, who was Tutankhamun's mother? It was Queen Nefertiti. Number 2, who was his father? King Akhenaten. Number 3, who was his wife and half-sister? Ankhesenamun. What relation to Tutankhamun was Tai, grandmother? And number 5, who were the 2 wet nurses? Tia and Maya. I want you to add the word wet nurse to your glossary. Wet nurse is a woman who gave her milk to a baby. So sometimes in royal families particularly, the birth mother was thought of as too important to use her milk for her babies. So they would get somebody else to give the babies the milk. And that person would be called a wet nurse. So write that down in your glossary now. Pause this while you're doing it. Well, there were 2 other characters on that page who weren't in the royal family and they weren't wet nurses. They were Ai, who was a vizier, and Horemheb, a general of the Egyptian army. I want you to look at this infographic, so a drawing that gives information. This is the pyramid that shows who's important and who's not in Egyptian society. Right at the top we can see the pharaoh, the most important person. Underneath there, so we're looking for level 2, we can find advisors and viziers. Okay, it says the pharaoh ruled using viziers, powerful advisors who oversaw administration and documents. They were chosen by the pharaoh himself for their loyalty and skill and were often members of the pharaoh's family. So that means that Ai is really near the top of the pyramid, very important. Then underneath that we have nobles and priests who looked after the gods and kept them happy, so they were important. Then we have scribes who were writers. They were also seen as really important because the Egyptians liked to write about everything. And then number 4, we can see soldiers. Right, so as this guy's a general of the army, you might think he belongs on this level. But I'm wondering that if, because he's a general, he was probably having to speak to people up here, I think he was probably very important as well, and he probably had a lot to do with the pharaoh. I'd like you to add another term to your glossary just for a moment. So vizier. Vizier means powerful advisor to the pharaoh. So can you add that into your glossary now, please? Just pause this while you're doing it. Right, so here we have the book starting part 1. The boy king is dead. The falcon is flown to heaven. Quite a mysterious beginning for a book. We're just going to read this first page here, page 6 for now. Tutankhamun was born at a time of change. His grandfather, Amenhotep, had governed with the influential Queen Tai at his side, and together they ruled a great empire. When Amenhotep died, Tutankhamun's father, King Akhenaten, became pharaoh. At this time, Egypt was a rich and powerful country. However, by the end of Akhenaten's rule, almost everything was lost. So we get the feeling that the king, Tutankhamun's father, was not a very successful leader, because it says almost everything was lost by the end of his reign, his time of ruling. I think you all know that word. Akhenaten married the beautiful Queen Nefertiti, and they had 6 cherished daughters together. Akhenaten loved his family dearly. We know this because archaeologists have uncovered pictures of him kissing and hugging his children. To create pictures like these was very unusual at the time. So here we can see the picture of the family. We have all the sisters, and then right in the middle we have their son, Tutankhamun. Okay. I'd like you to add a word to your glossary here, and the word is archaeologist. This is going to be very important as we're studying this book and studying Egypt. An archaeologist is someone who finds artifacts and studies history. So these are the people that go digging around for the things that we can go and see in our museums. Pause the video while you're writing down archaeologist and the definition in your dictionary, in your glossary, excuse me. Your final task for today is to have a look at the gods over on this page. Page 7 shows us the gods. We've got Horus, Anubis, Ra, Set, Aten, Isis, Thoth, Osiris, and Hathor. Choose one of them, and what I want you to do is write the name, write what they're the god or goddess of. Now you're going to have to use the internet to research that. So for example, if I chose Horus, what was he the god of? And I'd put that there. Then you do a picture here showing which animal head that god had, if at all. So you can see Osiris doesn't have an animal head, but and also Isis, but the others do. And also I want you to find some important information. So let's aim for 4 facts of important information about that god. So you're going to have to go onto the internet and search up the name of that god and find out some information. So that's your final task for today. Just pause this while you're doing it. Well done, Year 4. Today you predicted information about a pharaoh, you discovered information about Tut's family, you started a glossary, and you researched an Egyptian god and created a quick fact file. I will talk to you again tomorrow.